Hello everyone and welcome to Wednesdays with Wallis. Here I am back again, and I am really reinventing myself and starting out doing some new and different things, and thank you for joining me. And if you're following me, thank you for following me, because that's what makes all this possible. And today's episode of Wednesdays with Wallis is titled Your Creative Genius, and it's really, really important. I want to talk about the fact that I want to talk about this thing called genius to start with. So let's go over that a little bit, because that's really, really important. Okay, some time ago, quite some time ago, I read a book. It was by Elizabeth Gilbert, who I absolutely love. One day I'm going to meet her on my list of people I really want to meet, but Elizabeth Gilbert. So Elizabeth Gilbert in this particular book, and I think it was Big Magic or something like that. I can't quite remember the exact book, but I think that was the book. And she talked about genius during the Reformation and all that period of time, history. Lots of things changed. Prior to that, genius was considered something that was outside of ourselves, like inspiration, like something that, if you will, it comes flying across and clunk, picks you and drops in, and there you have it, and you have the opportunity to do something with that or not. And if you don't, it doesn't wait around, it flits off to the next more willing soul, if you will. So here we are in this earlier times of history, and genius was that thing that was outside of ourselves. It came in. There's lots of wonderful stories about people who, poets and writers and producers of movies, all sorts of people who, this genius, so to speak, instead of being, well, I'm a genius, you're a genius. Oh, yes, that's a load of rubbish. It's not true. You're not, I'm not. Genius comes to us. It comes to us via inspiration, inspired thoughts. It comes to us from externally, if you will. It's not us. We're not. If we look at creativity and the things that we create, they come from that space. They come from this, the genius, this space of genius. They come from a bit like, the genius is sitting in the corner waiting for you to be open and allowing. Otherwise, and to arrive in the form of inspiration for you. And if you're not open and allowing, and you don't have that demeanour, or you're closed off and shut down, and you go, oh no, I couldn't do that, or that's not for me, or oh, I'd look silly in that, or I'd look hideous. I was walking along the street today, early on today. I had to go to the knee specialist, because I have a very painful knee, like a lot of people as we get older. We have troubles with our knee or our joints. And I had, about 4 years ago, I won't go into a whole lot of detail, but I slipped on 2 or 3 steps coming down the stairs in the house I lived in that had stairs. This one doesn't, thank goodness. But that house did, and the stairs weren't all that great. In fact, they were quite dangerous. But anyway, I slipped on them, came down on my knees, and I damaged my knee. Now, going into a lot of detail, as I said, it's called the medial meniscus, and etc., etc. And then arthritis set in. And so I have these knee problems, and they're not getting any better. They're getting worse, and they're very painful, or this is very painful, this knee. And it's really affected my quality of life and the way in which I can live, which comes under the heading quality of life. So I decided that more recently I don't like going to doctors, and I don't like hospitals, and like a lot of you probably, I don't like all those things. So I was nervous about, this whole thing, because I've known for quite some time that if I want to have a better quality of life and I want to travel and I want to do things, I have to get it fixed. I have to have it operated on, and I have to have a knee replacement. And, for me, that's a biggie. It's a real biggie, and it's a biggie for a lot of people. And as I'm sure it's a biggie for you. So if you're watching this and you're in that space, this is aside from those other things I'm going to talk about today, but if you're in that space of going, oh God, that's me, well then all I can suggest to you is that focus on, your quality of life, focus on, your living, focus on your goals, focus on what you want to achieve and do. Having a knee painful and having no ability to move around in the way you want to, does that fill that? Is that, can you do that? Can you have this quality of life, and can you, have this, dicky knee as well? So, just think about it in that way, because that's where I had to come to. Anyway, I came out of the specialist today after having wonderful specialist, wonderful lady. And I came out of chatting with her about this knee and sorting out when, that was going to happen and take place. And I had to walk down the street to get to the car. I had to walk quite a ways along a street in Melbourne here where I live. And as I was walking down along the street, I had these clothes on that I have on at the moment, which I'm not sure whether you can see. And I love to wear my collars up. If you haven't done that, or you haven't, looked at doing that, perhaps, that's a simple little thing. Have a try of, putting your collar up instead of putting your collar down like this. Put it up. I mean, it's much more attractive, and then, I don't know, it's just fabulous, isn't it? I mean, collars up. When you see a woman with her collar up on her shirt, it just looks fabulous. As I said, it's far better than, this sort of look, isn't it? So anyway, I had it on, but I put these lovely beads. I have these lovely, friend of mine gave me these as a present a long time ago, and they're quite gorgeous. And I thought, I'm going to wear these today. And I just wore gold earrings, but I wore these pearls today. I went out for dinner last night and wore all different types of pearls, big crosses. I'll show them to you sometime. But anyway, I wore this, and I was walking along the street anyway towards the car, and a young lady came along towards me, and she stopped and she said, oh, I just want to tell you, I just love your necklace. I love your necklace. Oh, she said, isn't that fabulous? I just love it. And, I get that all the time. I get people either commenting on my clothes or how I look, or something that particularly that I've got on. In the doctor's surgery, the girl in there was commenting on my necklace. So it's obviously something that I love it, but it's obviously something that other people love as well. Okay, now down to the nitty-gritty of today. What I started on last week, Wednesdays with Wallis, was about the 3 things that I wanted you to do. Let's just quickly recap on them. What I wanted you to do was I wanted you to go away and write down on a piece of paper in a book. In a book would have been good, a nice little journal or a little book, because I want you to add to this over time. And I think writing things down and putting things in writing is really, really fabulous and really, really important. And magic happens between here and the writing of things. And I want you to believe that sometime or other we'll have that conversation, talk about it. But in the meantime, I want to cover off on the fact that I wanted you to write down 3 things that describe you. Because the reason for doing this, and I was sharing this with another younger woman last night, and we were talking about clothes and recycling, because Bold Not Old has recently started up an area of itself called Recycled Fabulous, which I absolutely love, pursuing your dreams and pursuing the things that really float your boat and you love. For me, you can't see outside. I'm looking at my beautiful plants in the garden. But, it's about You know, it's about being fabulous and interior decorating and clothes, and I love the whole thing. So I talked about having or writing down three things that describe who you are. I want you to take your time with that. If you haven't done it already, I'm giving you a kick up the bum and saying, get off and do that. Write down the three things that describe you. What are they? What are those three things? And then you can go back to your wardrobe with your list of three things. And I was talking to a woman recently who had done just that, and she said it was amazing. And it was not only just amazing for her wardrobe, but it extended. She said she was then looking at her life and looking at things around her and going, well, you know, that's me. That's how I feel, or that's who I feel I am. And, you know, does that fit with that? Or does that fit with that? Or do those people fit with that? So it's got a much broader repercussions to this. I'm going to call them repercussions because they're things that, you know, happen because of the fact that you've taken the time to look at what are the three things that describe who you are. So me, one of those is fabulous. So I look at things and go, is that fabulous? I mean, it's easy, isn't it? You know, three things that life can measure up to, that you know are you and you know fit you and you know that's, you know, basically who you are. Yes, you can take that and you can stretch it out and you can put in more things and you may do that over time. But these three key things really are all that you need. So last week we looked at, you know, those sorts of things. And this week what I'd like to look at is I showed you a little creative thing last week, and I talked about, you know, being creative. You know, let's be creative with what we wear, what we do. Like today, I said, why don't you maybe try wearing your collar up instead of down? You know, put it up. It's a simple thing. Try it out, see how you go. Do you wear bigger earrings or do you wear, you know, little, I've got some little tiny ones in this other second hole in my ears, or do you wear or stick to wearing little tiny earrings like that? Maybe put some more holes in your ears and wear some bigger ones as well. That's one way to do it. Or don't keep wearing little tiny earrings, wear something a bit bigger. And you might look in the mirror and go, oh no, I couldn't do that. You know, I've always worn, well, always is always, might be time for a change, darlings, and do something a little bit different. So we looked at some things last week, and I mentioned that I had a top, and I do. It was actually a dress, and I bought it. I'm going to show it to you. It's got this is my, oh, look, can you see it? My recycled fabulous tag on it, because it's a Mikey, which is a New Zealand designer. Fabulous, and I've got this fantastic, fabulous picture on the back. And, you know, this, not old, this is my little swing tag for things, and I just put it on with a, you know, a safety pin and a little bit of string. I wanted to save on things. I didn't want to get too fancy about it. But anyway, I bought this. It was a dress. I've had it quite a while. COVID sort of came along, you forget about how long you have things. And I'm going to stand back, and it's lovely. It's beautiful, bright orange. And in fact, I'm almost tempted now to go, put it back in the wardrobe, keep it. But it's this dress, right? And it's got, and it was cheap, silly price on it. Anyway, this dress, and it has this big cowl neck sort of area on the front. It had, well, you can't see it, but it had an extra piece on it. It was a bit long on me, and it had a piece on the bottom of it that was a bit, it sort of came in, and that made it even, came in with sort of a, you know, piece on the bottom like that, and that was a bit long for me, a bit long, and I don't know why, but just, I don't know, you know how it is sometimes with things. Anyway, and it's a lovely colour on me. It's orange is beautiful. I've got some orange glasses. And so I took it along to the tailoress, the woman, a fabulous tailor, who I said, I don't know, I have to do something with this. Can you take this, can you cut the bit off? Make it a bit shorter for me, and I'll layer it. I'll layer it with something else. So she did. So this is the dress, right? I'll put it aside. That's the dress. Gorgeous, gorgeous dress. Lovely material. Throw it in the washing machine, wash it, hang it up, and it'll dry. So she cut the piece off it. And this was the piece that she cut off. You see it? This was the piece. She cut this piece off it, off the bottom. It was a piece off the bottom, a long piece. So this went around it. You can see it. It was a piece. But you can see what I mean about the piece on the bottom. So what I did, creative, I want you to think about being creative. So what I did, I love those extra things that you can wear and big pieces. You know, you can create a lot of that yourself. You don't have to pay a lot of money for it. So what I did, a bit messy, but what I did was I took it and I made it so that I could put it around my neck. So this was effectively a piece off the dress, went round the bottom, and this bigger piece that hung down. So I took it and I found some of my bigger pins, see, bigger pins here, and I hooked it up with nice pins I had, big pins. And so now, if I want to, I can wear it as an extra, just an extra piece like that. You know, I've got my beads under this, but I can wear it. It's got big pins, and I could wear it with that dress if I wanted to as an extra piece over it. I can wear it over other orange things that I have, but it's this lovely big extra interesting piece. Now, you might think, oh, that's not for me. I wouldn't, you know, do something with that. But it's merely just to get you thinking about what you might do. Like another example is, I need to stop rattling on or you won't get all this. But what I did recently, and I'll show it to you I'll show it to you next week. But what I did recently, a friend of mine, these little bags, remember the little bags? I used to call them bum bags. I don't call them that now. That's probably a bit old hat, that, you know, sort of term for it. But those little bags, that people used to take them travelling and they used to wear them. They'd put them around their waist. These days they've come back into fashion and they're creating them in leather and with, you know, scarabs on the front and, you know, charging a small fortune for them, hundreds of dollars. Pardon me. And then if you want a nice chain on it or a different handle, you know, you have to pay a whole lot more. So I'll show you what I did. And I did pay a bit for it because of the label of it, but I bought, and I'll show it to you. I don't want to preempt it all, but next time we meet, I'll show it to you. And it's a fabulous little bag. And I've always been into love, long before it ever become popular. I love animal print and leopard print and tiger print and zebra print. I love prints. I love that sort of thing. Love. So anyway, I bought this little bag and you'll see it. It's got just what I love on it. And my friend had bought a bag, leather one, paid a lot of money for it, and it had a gorgeous chain on it as well. And when you wear them these days, you wear them down over like a shoulder bag type thing, this rather than around your waist. That's how you wear them. I'll show you next week. I'll bring that into the conversation and show you. So so I bought this bag because I really loved hers, but I didn't want to pay that sort of money. And I loved the chain, and I wasn't going to pay that sort of money for the chain. So I went online. I'm waiting for them to arrive. I hope they'll be here for next week. But I went online and I purchased from a place online, probably from China or somewhere or other. And I bought two beautiful big chains, one black one and one gold one. And I'm going to I can add the black or the gold, but in this particular instance, when it comes, I'm going to add the gold. It's got lovely clips on it to clip on. I'm going to add the gold chain to it. And those chains, you know, my friend, and I'm not sure hers is lovely. I'm not detracting from it. It's lovely. But it was around $300 extra for the chain. And this chains I bought, and I'm sure they'll be fabulous. I haven't got them yet, but they'll be fabulous anyway because I'll make them fabulous. They cost me about $30 each. So I just want to, or what I'm doing is laying the groundwork here for you to start thinking about being creative. And I'm going to be giving you over this Wednesdays with Wallis thing now. I used to do it talking about a whole lot of other things, and I still may talk about some things of interest like today about genius and those things, but it'll be a forerunner to showing you some ideas on fashion, showing you things that you could do, things that you can add, and they don't all have to be expensive. They can be inexpensive. They can be from the op shop. They can be from wherever, but how you put them together and what you do with them will mean they either turn out fabulous or they turn out to be, you know, cheap and mediocre. And you don't want that. You want to always look fabulous. And I'm encouraging you to do that. And you don't have to always purchase. You can mix and match a whole lot of things. And we're going to talk about that as time goes on. So, but for now, go away, have a think about. I want you to go back now to your wardrobe, the one you've sorted out, the one that you're going to be replacing some clothes in, the ones that you're going to add to with that fit those three things that describe you. You're going to now be working on your wardrobe and looking at the things you're going to get rid of. If you live in Melbourne, contact Wallis at boldnotold.com.au, and you know, we may look at taking some of those things from you and sharing with you on, you know, consignment for our recycled area. But anyway, that's just something we'll have a little plug and talk about at some other time. But for now, because our next recycling event comes up in October, but for now I want you to go away and I want you to go back to your wardrobe and I want you to think about what could you do to be creative. Will you do that? What could you do to be more creative with your life? What could you do to be more creative with your clothing? Because quite frankly, if you're feeling fabulous about yourself, well, then you'll feel more inclined to do more with your life, won't you? That's it from me. Thank you for watching Wednesdays with Wallis. I really do appreciate it. I want you to subscribe because I'm wanting to really build, you know, a list of subscribers and followers, and that would be absolutely fabulous. I keep getting better all the time, hopefully, as I'm sure you do. And if I can help you to do that, I want to help you to live a fabulous life and be fabulous. Thank you for listening. Thank you for joining in. And I'll see you next week on Wednesdays with Wallis. Fantastic.